Hey everyone, welcome to the latest edition of This Week at Notarize, where this week we want to talk about our work to build more connected partner ecosystems. So our partners have a certain way they like to work, processes, workflows, integrations that are tried and tested to work for their unique business needs. And we at Notarize think we have a complementary role to play in supporting those existing business infrastructures while providing tools that not only scale our partners, but help our partners reach their fullest potential as well. And so joining me today to talk more about our strategy on this front is David Berner, Strategic Planning and Partnership Manager here at Notarize. Hey, Berner, how's it going?
Good, my friend. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. So real quick, want to start on the state of things specifically in real estate. There's been a lot going on in the past year, even just beyond COVID. So can you give us a quick update on Ron and the real estate space and where things stand?
Yeah, definitely. I hate to continue to bring up the pandemic, but unfortunately, a lot of this sort of begins and ends with it in many respects when we look over the past 12 months. So I think it's a no-brainer, obviously, that the COVID demand really pushed this forward. I frankly think we made about 10 years of progress in about 1 year, necessity being the mother invention, all that good stuff, right? So I think one thing that was very fascinating to me was the rapid adoption by the title industry of remote online notarization into their workflows. It's a great example of remote online notarization becoming a nice to have, or starting as a nice to have, if you will, and then becoming a need to have overnight. There's a couple of use cases that title agents can initiate themselves without a lender being involved, and we saw a lot of uptick in that. Those are, of course, your cash transactions and your seller documents, critical part of a home purchase transaction. A lot of that, I think, was driven by underwriter approval and continued growth and comfort by those critical business partners for title agents across the country as they got more and more comfortable. And another function of that, of course, is legislative. We've had a very busy session so far this year. We're now up to 34 states with permanent legislation, 2/3, which is, I think, the top line number we're going to go with now. That have put in permanent remote online notarization legislation. So very exciting to see that continued growth. So I think title is really leading the charge in many respects. I think for lenders, of course, they had the same dynamic, right? They absolutely wanted to have this technology, but interestingly enough, a couple headwinds in some respects. I don't think anybody expected interest rates to make the move that they did and create the best refinance market in the history of mortgage banking, let's be clear. So for a lot of lenders, I think they saw remote online notarization, said this is absolutely something I want to put into my business. But when I have a pipeline that's 3 times bigger than I forecast going into the year, geez, that's a little bit tough in terms of timing to be able to change my closing process. We're in a new market, even just show how fast things go. I mean, just a couple months ago, as we start shifting more focus in a rising rate, or at least a flat interest rate environment, towards home purchases. We all know how home purchase market is completely different from the refinance market, much more moving parts, much more emotional involvement. And so you start to see partners think about, not just the business efficiencies of remote online notarization, which I think are starting to get more and more clear as more and more done, but also just how it drives a better customer experience. When you do a purchase well, you're making a lot of folks happy. Obviously your borrower, but that real estate agent who's a critical business and referral partner to you. So a better customer experience makes them look good, makes you look good, and makes the customer happy. And hopefully that turns into repeat and referral business as well. So, definitely excited about what's going to happen here over the next 12 months as this continues to mature and just simply get easier for everyone to do.
Yeah, totally agree. And, in speaking about the mortgage space, there are few industries that have more chefs in the kitchen at any one point in time than the mortgage space. And so when we think about supporting an entire business ecosystem and giving people and businesses the solutions that they need to work within the infrastructure that they have today, why is that especially important within the mortgage space?
Yeah, I laugh sometimes when I do trainings here at Notarize and help get people, coached up on just the mortgage part, right? I'm going to put title to the side for a second. Even if they're homeowners, they go, oh my gosh, I didn't realize there were this many people and this many touches and this many processes, to get a loan from point A to point B. And I think that feeds directly into your question, Andrew, which is, the amount of tools and processes and things that need to be used in a mortgage banking operation to get a loan from point A to point B. And lenders have spent a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, over the preceding years here investing in that technology. You can take a look at a couple broad categories, right? First and foremost, the loan origination software, that sort of core system that powers all of the activities for your partners and employees in the company, across the workspace there. But then you take a look at a point of sale system, like a Simple Nexus, a partnership we just announced here that is so important for the customer experience. So they understand where they need to go, how they can get questions answered, get their documents uploaded, and interface with that lender in a smooth process. Your digital documents, right? The partners that we're working with there to ensure that those are compliant documents that are automatically tagged, pushed out to the signers and can be electronically signed. Lenders have done a lot of their homework in selecting these pieces of technology. A lot of investment, a lot of time, a lot of energy spent shopping for them. And as a result of that, it's really incumbent on us, to make sure that we can fit inside of the technology architecture that's already been selected by a lender, so we're not interrupting that or forcing a change in those solutions. I think that's really, really critical when you look at some of the solutions that lenders have put together, using disparate parties in the mortgage ecosystem.
Yeah, and you've talked about lender, you've talked about title. I think one of the most customer-facing roles is obviously the role of the realtor. And recently we announced a new partnership with Loop, which we're super excited about. We hope to have them on in the next few weeks to speak about the partnership at a broader level. But from our perspective, why is this partnership such a big deal? How does it continue on those efforts of creating a more unified and cohesive mortgage ecosystem?
So the former loan officer in me dies a little bit every time I say this. So I'm just going to preface it by starting there. But the most trusted advisor in a real estate transaction is the real estate agent. There's no question. I think about my own home purchase process, and I was peppering my real estate agent with questions, and I've personally done hundreds of these, and I still had a tremendous amount of questions for them. So, I think that's really, really critical, is empowering these folks to be as efficient as possible and, just as technology powered as possible as they can. And Loop does an incredible job of that. One great example that, they have on their website is the problem of versioning. So if you think about a document that's independent of a mortgage loan, like let's just start there, that both the buy side and the sell side need to get executed. What could be worse than schlepping around town, signing the wrong version of it? Oh, sorry, this changed in the background. So Loop eliminates problems like that. And in situations where a real estate agent or their customers need to get a document notarized, again, independent of the mortgage loan, just in the normal course of buying and selling a property, they're able to do that, initiate that transaction from the piece of software that they use to manage all of their transactions, send it out to Notarize, get it completed, and then push it back into their ecosystem. It really creates a more efficient process for the real estate agent, which ultimately leads to a happier customer and a faster close. And that's what we're all going after. And so I think when you think about our philosophy, from a partnership team and a company as a whole, it's again fitting into the ecosystem that's been selected by the professionals, in each and every vertical that we work in. Talked a lot about real estate, but you can really apply this to financial services, auto lending, and all the other verticals that we support on a day-to-day basis. And so, we're really excited to continue that effort. If you haven't talked to us yet, please do. We really would love to partner with you.
Yeah, and efficiency is the name of the game these days, right? Especially as we move back to the purchase market. But to your point, all the other verticals that we touch, there are points in every workflow that could use digitization and collaboration. And we're excited to build the tools and resources that make that connective tissue happen. So Werner, appreciate you taking the time, and hopefully we get to do this again soon.
Always. Thanks for having me, and always a great time to chat with you. Take care.